Take these stunts out of Mission Impossible and what you're left with is a cheap James Bond knockoff, I guess. For over 30 years Tom Cruise has evaded death on the sets of the MI films. Now it's time to figure out the best and worst ones. This is every Mission Impossible stunt ranked from worst to best. 19. Spinning cars. This takes place in the first act of Mission Impossible 2 and look at this is just hilarious. Instead of making us feel the danger of the car spin and then the impending drop from the cliff, we get to hear a weird needle drop. Ethan and Naya weirdly exchanging glances. In this intense action scene we get a crossfade transition, for crying out loud. This is on M. Night Shyamalan The Last Airbender level. Yeah, just keep on making out like there is no risk of the car going down. I do have to give it that it undoubtedly is the most realistic one. A car accident can happen every day. By the way, I welcome you to roast my takes in the comments or share your own. 18. Helicopter heist. Also from Mission Impossible 2, the helicopter heist. There isn't much wrong with the stunt itself, the thing is it has been done already. Its biggest sin is flat out copying the Langley heist from MI 1996 and spectacularly failing in recapturing the magic. Yet I do like that the villain predicts Ethan's choices and ambushes him. In isolation it's perfectly fine as an infiltration plan into the facility, but if you've seen the film preceding it, it doesn't hit very hard. 17. Shanghai Tower Swing. The only big stunt from Mission Impossible 3 did not make it very high in my ranking. This despite it being pretty sweet on paper. Swinging from one giant building to another, I'm on board. Where it falters is the way they chose to shot and edit it. The camera for the most part is way too close, it goes much too shaky. I mean, there is a nice shot from below that sells us on the scale of these skyscrapers. And it's gone. They cut away way too early. Ethan also for a split second seems to disable gravity before plummeting down and crashing into the glass. No, Ethan's bones are shattered. Maybe they are, and Ethan just has pain tolerance on a different level. 16. Train. With that I'm referring to the MI1 climax. I'm pretty sure this looked great when it came out, but from today's view the VFX certainly has aged. There are miniatures and matte paintings which still look good today, but the green screen / blue screen not so much. That's like the only thing really holding it back. This and Jon Voight's Jim Phelps looking absolutely goofy with these glasses. It is a thrilling closer to the first feature. Train and tunnel always go well together. At a helicopter, now we're talking. Exploding gum, underrated Mission Impossible gadget, it carries like an ox. 15. Exploding fish tank. Staying with the exploding gum for a moment, it is also the star of the next stunt, MI1's exploding fish tank. They actually started out thinking a stuntman would perform this thing and Cruise stepped up because they couldn't hide the face on camera. In the film the stunt isn't all that crazy, but on set this was legitimately dangerous. I'm pretty sure Tom Cruise went into it with the least amount of safety measures compared to other stunts with wire work. It was all down to timing, either nail it or eat the wave. 14. Rock climbing. See, MI2 does have good stunts. The rock climbing opening with nothing but magnesium for support does a lot to reintroduce Ethan Hunt and make it clear from the get-go that he's more than a spy this time around. He's a cool action hero. What it also does is tell us early on that Ethan's skill ceiling is basically limitless. Name a skill, he can do it. Photographically memorizing a bunch of numbers, no problem. Drawing sketches with just a pen on his own hand, easy. Climbing rocks for relaxation on vacation, just another Tuesday. 13. Car parking station. The car parking station from the Final Fight in Ghost Protocol is a super unique location. It is a set built for the movie, yes, but the inspiration, the Autostadt Volkswagen in Germany, is just as impressive. It serves not only as a backdrop for the action, but it allows for interaction. Question: you are here and you want to get down. What is the quickest way down? Yeah, if not already, this confirms that Ethan Hunt is clinically insane. Crashing a car straight down, let's go. This must have knocked Hunt loopy as he starts spewing corny one-liners. Mission accomplished! Luther rightfully makes fun of that. 12. London rooftops. Running through London, I sleep. Running over rooftops in London, basic. Tom Cruise sprinting and jumping over London rooftops, real shit. The scene pulls off a lot at the same time. Tom Cruise running, of course, is a meme, but the scene has stakes. It's tension-packed and even funny. We all know what makes all of this so special is Tom Cruise's dedication. Breaking his ankle on the jump and still continuing, this deserves the respect. Even if it's just a couple of limping steps. You spent the entire sequence cheering for Hunt to get there in time just for him to fail by an inch. That's heartbreaking. 11. Brandt magnetic suit. Okay, this first of all is an underrated stunt. Second, it is so unique because it's not performed by Tom Cruise. Ethan Hunt isn't even involved in it. Instead, the honor goes to Jeremy Renner's William Brandt. And I do feel for the guy jumping into a fan that could slice you to pieces is certainly scary. Also, from a story perspective, this is great, as the Brandt character, where you have to wonder the whole time if he's going to stab the team in the back, now has to put all his trust into Benji, who can be mistaken as nothing more than a goofball. Props for daring to put the stunt weight onto someone that is not named Tom Cruise. 10. Helicopter in the mountains. We're right back at the Tom Cruise ones, and this is the first appearance Fallout makes on this list. Speaking to the high quality the stunts maintain in Mission Impossible Fallout. Flying helicopters this close to the rocks of a mountain is of course very dangerous. However, what I want to focus on is the part where Ethan climbs up the lane towards the helicopter, then drops down and catches himself at the payload. Because behind the scenes this looked so realistic that on the set radio somebody said, "I think we just lost Tom." You know your stunt work is off the charts if it's so believable that the crew on set is fooled. 9. Underwater Torus. Now it's Rock Nation's turn. A regular diving scene is not enough. A diving scene without scuba equipment is not enough either. There has to be a sweeper going round and round, and the life of your best friend at stake. I guess the oxygen meter and Ethan waiting an eternity and a half between holding his breath and jumping in doesn't make much sense. Although it's refreshing to see that he actually fails to do the stunt for once. He has to be rescued by Ilsa Faust, who becomes the GOAT for a moment, before leaving the team behind, taking the MacGuffin with her. Another reason why this is such a breath of fresh air is that failing doesn't mean falling to death for once. Failing means drowning, which at least to me is a much more terrifying way to go out. 8. Train crash. Another train stunt, this time the one from Dead Reckoning Part 1. The train crash itself is mostly practical, it even shattered cameras while filming. The action inside the train cart is impressive because 1. It seems like Hayley Atwell did her own stunts, in camera alongside Tom Cruise. And I love how the trouble just keeps on stacking on each other. There's fire, the carts are dropping one by one. There is only one parachute, Grace is utterly unprepared. Paris is within an inch of her life. In addition, all of that is that hostile parties are closing in to arrest our heroes. A less traditional MI stunt, but not worse for it. 7. Langley Heist. There it is, one of the most iconic shots in cinema history. The scene overall is one of the most iconic in cinema history, evident by all the references and parodies. I don't think I need to explain much here. If you can successfully make us care about a single drop of sweat, you've done a good job. 6. Biplane finale. This is honestly a masterclass in cinematic stakes. The entirety of all reality is about to be corrupted. Ethan doing all the crazy stuff on the plane is just a little piece of the puzzle. Even if he succeeds, Grace has to beat a blink of an eye QuickTime event. Benji has to stay conscious despite losing blood by the second. The only one there for support is someone specialized in ending lives, not saving them. I need to comment how all the plane footage is shot and edited. This is thrilling direction. Should Ethan Hunt have died here considering the final chapter feeling of the film? Maybe it's better he survived. Maybe the future will tell. 5. Motorcycle jump. I've seen this stunt so damn often and there is no getting tired of it. I've seen it mostly in the trailers that ran in theaters before the movies. It's funny that all of this started with the simple line by Ethan, "I've missed the train." Simon Pegg's Benji in this scene is just priceless. Crashing out on being under pressure to a person that is about to ride a motorcycle off a mountain to smash into a train moving at full speed with a parachute. The stunt is pretty late into the film, but surely worth every second, even if you don't enjoy that reckoning. 4. Halo Jump. The sequence has locked itself so firmly into my brain that whenever I come across the word Halo, I don't think about a shiny circle or the Master Chief franchise. I think of Henry Cavill being a dick to Tom Cruise, ending up in a situation in which he has to be saved by him without even realizing it, making a safe landing just to be a dick to Cruise once again. Random trivia: this was not shot in Paris, as the air safety regulations didn't allow them to film there. So big L to the French for missing out on the bragging rights to say this banger was filmed here. 3. Side of a Plane. The one and only poster stunt of Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Instead of the usual Tom Cruise is crazy for doing this practically, I'm going to say this. I hit the gym pretty regularly, but there's just one part where I fail to make progress no matter how much I try. That is my grip strength. So if I were on the side of that plane, I'd probably survive, but that's because my forearms would give up before I'd reach fatal height. Ethan Hunt's grip strength, this is the most unrealistic thing here. 2. Burj Khalifa Climb. Not long ago I posted a poll into my community page. Only 11 people participated, but the Burj Khalifa Climb won the title of Best Mission Impossible Stunt by a landslide. Do I agree? As you can see with me placing it on number 2, not quite. However, this shit gives me anxiety. I'm not particularly afraid of heights, but watching this I can completely understand everyone that is. My favorite part is actually not the climbing part, but the part where Hans starts running down the tower. And the cable then is too short, so he has to jump, and he misses. All of this makes me scream at the screen. So what could possibly be better than that? 1. Sevastopol Dive. When I see people say that they don't like The Final Reckoning, I genuinely question whether they've seen the same movie I have. Like, how can you watch this and not go like, are you kidding me? This is f***ing awesome. It's claustrophobic, nail-biting, edge of your seat level tense. The stakes are higher than they have ever been, and the mission has never seemed more impossible. Have you any idea how insanely much pressure water has down there? And the Sevastopol is in danger of sinking even deeper than that. The sequence is just executed to perfection. The claustrophobic set design, the disorienting editing matching Ethan's diving sickness, the clean sound effects, and the music. In addition, there is no word said, except a few noises uttered by Ethan. I love that. No dialogue, and there is no cut to another scene. It plays out in full. And yeah, Ethan doesn't even make it out alive. He dies and gets resurrected to escape this hell. The utter dread this sequence makes me feel is unmatched. But what do you think? All I know is that something is coming closer, something big, although only little is above the surface. Coming soon.